Come on. Ooh. Hi everybody, this is Yuena, and today I want to talk to you guys about a very interesting topic, and it is the pros and cons about dating young. Now, I'm no expert about this topic, but as you guys saw from my last video, I did start dating at a very young age. One of the questions I get asked very often is, would you advise somebody to start dating when they're young? Now, before we answer that question, I'm just going to spill out for you all the cons about dating young. Okay, one, you have no idea what's going on. When you first start dating, it's all butterflies, especially since when you're younger, you always watch fairy tales and Cinderella and Prince Charming. When you actually start dating, most of the time it's nothing like the Disney movies. I felt very lied to in my first relationship. I was just like, oh hell no, this is not my Prince Charming at all. It's kind of like a rude awakening if the relationship isn't where you expect it to be, especially since if fairy tale books and all these movies always have a happy ending. The truth is, not all relationships have a happy ending, and when you're going through your teenage years, you're already going through a whole bunch of emotions, a whole bunch of hormone changes. I'm sorry if you guys haven't hit that stage yet, and I'm just letting you know on the truth. It's not always something someone can prepare for themselves for. It's definitely something that's a very huge learning experience and something that you may or may not want to go through. But I think before you commit yourself to someone, you should just date lightly. You know, don't necessarily plan like the rest of your life with that person. Just kind of see where things go and just be happy with each other, you know? It shouldn't be that much drama in a relationship already. Which brings me to my next point. Another con is 1 in 3 relationships as a teenager always comes out abusive. I don't know why that is, and unfortunately I am part of that statistic. Like, the truth is that you're still a kid when you're a teenager, and there's still so much for you guys to learn, and you guys should be playing or dating very nicely, not having all these problems already. But like I said before, you know, when you're going through your teenage years, you're very emotional. It's not even your fault. It's just because there's just so many things going on. It's kind of hard to recognize how to approach different things. And sometimes as a kid, and especially being Asian American, you can't tell your parents that you're dating someone. I'm sure in a lot of other families it's like that too. So what happens is it's very hard for you to kind of talk to other people that's had experience. And then the people that you can talk to, as in your friends, they can't really give you a lot of advice because a lot of them haven't started dating yet. So it's definitely a very tough position to be in if you guys are going to be having any relationship problems or issues that you guys have to work out. Another con I would say is sometimes what happens is the birds and the bees talk. So teenagers tend to have sex at a very young age. A lot of times girls or guys or just anyone, you know, that's very young and inexperienced, it's like a huge deal for them. And sometimes for the other opposite sex, it may not always be a huge deal, and so they feel pressured. And speaking from personal experience, you really don't know what's the right thing to do, because if you're forced to doing something that you don't want to hurt the person's feelings, but you don't want to hurt yourself by doing something you just weren't comfortable with. This is another thing that is a huge deal, because once someone takes your virginity, then that's it. Like, you know, there's no like, here, you can have it back. And sometimes what happens is they may end up breaking up, which will cause even more heartache, and that's something that it's very hard for a teenager that's going through high school to deal with all of that, or even younger, but I'm not even gonna get into that. But now here's my favorite part, the Yuena section, where I always say a lot of pros. And one of the good things I will definitely say about dating young is at a very young age, you pretty much already know what you want and what you don't want out of a relationship. So let's just say if you did go through a really bad relationship when you were younger, then when you get older, you know exactly what type of person you don't want to date again. Another thing about having a partner when you're very young is that you mature very fast, because you're constantly having to work with a whole nother person on your decisions, and you guys are two halves that make a whole. You tend to learn a lot about the other person and how to communicate and how to work through everything, and that's something that you can also learn when you're older. But when you're younger, once you learn how to communicate properly with someone, you can use that towards anything else in life. And communication is definitely a huge thing. I say that in all my videos. Well, the root of a lot of problems, I would say, is not clear communication. No one learns that overnight. It's really through a lot of different people, a lot of different experiences, in order for you to learn how to communicate properly with somebody else. And finally, a huge part about why it's actually kind of cool to date young is that you get to learn a lot about yourself. I know that's kind of weird because you're dating somebody, but then you're learning more about yourself. But that's because you really get to learn what you want out of life, what you want out of another person, whether this type of relationship would work for you, or maybe you're not even ready for a relationship. That's the thing that people are always kind of confusing, because society always encourages people to be together. So there's always a lot of pressure to want to find the perfect person for yourself. Personally, I feel like if the right person comes along, you'll just know, and there's literally no rush. Would I recommend for my own son to date young? I think I will tell him exactly what I just told you guys. Listen, there's no rush. I'm not in any rush to be a grandmother anytime soon. I would honestly probably hand him a packet of condoms just in case. But the thing is that if he's going to be in a relationship, I would much rather him be honest with me and tell me that he is in one. That way, if he has any problems with it, I would just tell him, go be a doctor, and then you won't have any girl problems in the future. Such a good mom, right? Alright guys, you guys already know the drill. Please like and comment down below if you guys have any questions. This video was inspired by this girl who commented on my last video and asked me if her and her boyfriend should continue dating because they're very young. Part of me kind of wanted to do a whole video just responding back to her, but I wasn't sure if that would be like a whole nother series of just ask Yuena one long question and then I would just dedicate a whole video to you guys. But let me know in the comments down below if you guys would be interested in watching something like that. Also, if you guys want to request other videos, you guys are always more than welcome to. Tell me what you want and I'll give it to you. That's what she said. That's it before my ADD kicks in again. I love you guys so much, and just know that I always read your comments. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below or up there or wherever it is. Bye guys.